should turn it like this. Okay, just trying to get set up, get the best little angle for you guys, so you guys can see. Hi. Okay. Yeah, I think it's worse. Hi Sky. Hi you guys. Welcome to my first YouTube chat. Yay, it's working. Trey's in here right now, so I had to set this up all by myself. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you guys could join me, and I'm so excited about this chat. I got some really good questions to start off with that I wrote down. And so I'm just going to give maybe about a minute or so to let other people join. But hi Violet, hi Andrea, hi Melissa. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this Monday. I know you could be doing a million other things, but I'm glad that we have our little community here. Hi Tiffany. Yes, I'm feeling well, thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. So right now it's just to give y'all an update, I am in Florida on my baby moon. Trey and I are in West Palm Beach, and we've been here, well actually I've been here since Friday, and it's been awesome. The weather has been really good since I got here. It's sunny today, and it's been sunny all day, and so I got some beach time and everything, so feeling good. I think I may have a little tan. I don't know if you guys can tell if I'm a little darker, but I don't tan very well, so. Okay, so again, thank you guys for joining. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the questions. So this is how we're gonna do it. I'm going to start by going over the questions that I received from you all on Instagram and then Facebook. And then if you have a question that you think of while we're talking, then go ahead and just write it to me or send me a little message, and then I'll get to those questions last if we still have time, because I don't want to keep you too long. 7 o'clock I'll be ending it. Okay, all right, so first question is from Instagram, and it's from House 331, and she asks, what is the difference between a doula and a midwife? So for those of you who know, when I had Dash, I went through a midwifery group, and I had a doula. Valerie the doula is my doula. She's absolutely wonderful. So a midwife is the actual practitioner who delivers the baby. Like, she's the one who does the checks of your cervix. She's there when the baby is born. She's basically helping you bring your baby into this world, birthing the baby. The doula is there, and I think is a present for all expecting mothers. She's there to comfort the mother and the family, being the mom and the dad. She's there to give you a massage if you need it. She's there to make sure that if you become disoriented for any reason during the process, that you still stay educated about what's going on, so that your concerns and that your birth plan are followed through as closely as it can be during the circumstances. She's there to provide support as far as just making you feel physically comfortable and emotionally comfortable. Yeah, she's like basically how you would do back in the old days, and if you were in some type of village or community, and the mothers would come and support you during your birth. So yeah, she is awesome, and so that's the difference between a doula and a midwife. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Okay, next question is from AVYG81. Has being a mother made you feel more empowered or confident as a woman so that you're more assertive in all aspects of life? That's a good question. I do believe that since I became a mother, I am definitely more confident in just my perspective and my walk in life, which basically led me to leave my job in September. You all know that I, basically walked away from my full-time job as an attorney in September of last year in order to pursue my passion and my calling and use YouTube as a platform in order to do so. And that was something that I'd always thought about doing, but just never really thought it could be possible. And then it was just kind of like, look, I'm a mom. I have someone who is looking to me for everything, for an example, for nourishment, for nurturing, and I need to make sure that I'm happy and that I'm living my life to the fullest so that I can be able to provide what's necessary for my child, if that makes sense. And so now that I'm a mom of a girl, it's definitely got me thinking a lot more because, little girls, they are like your little mini me's. They want to copy you and be exactly like mommy. And so I just pray that I can be a wonderful example for my little girl and that I can be strong and assertive and kind, and generous and just beautiful overall, so that she can see that. And I don't necessarily have to tell her all the time. I could just live life and she can see that as a reflection. So yeah, I think it does make you more confident in just going through birth. And the birth that I went through with Dash, it was definitely different and memorable. It definitely made me stronger. I was surprised by how strong that I could be in that moment, like physically and mentally, because a lot of the pain is like you come to a mental point of like dealing with the pain. And so I feel like I met a new part of myself. Like I feel like I was introduced to a new part of Tia that I never knew existed, or that I could, become in a moment of just desperation, in a moment of feeling like, man, what do I need to do in order to make this happen? So yeah, you definitely, you feel more confident in yourself and stronger as a woman, because we rock. I'm just saying. All right, so the next question, let me know if you all if it's too dark. I'm gonna move over here and get more light. Yeah, that's better. So okay, the next question comes from Naturally Brandy 88, and she asked a few questions, so I'll start off with the first. Is there anything you're going to do differently with baby number 2? Man. Is there anything differently I'm going to do? Well, I do plan on maybe keeping her in the room with us a little bit longer. When she's born, Dash was moved to his crib probably at 2 months, just because he outgrew his bassinet. He was so big. But she's measuring an average size. She's going to be smaller than her brother. So if I can keep her in the room with us for at least 3 months, then I'd like to do that. Just because I was nervous, right, putting him in the room that early on his own. But also because I may want them to share rooms, and instead of having her have her own nursery. So I would want to try to get her in an age that's closer to sleep training before I put her in a room and she's crying and possibly waking him up in the middle of the night. Or if I need to go tend to her, it's in a room where he's there and he's sleeping, and he's a good sleeper, so I don't want to disturb him or his schedule. So that's something that I would definitely do different. Other than that, I would pretty much try to put her on the same schedule that he's on, and use the same feeding techniques and sleep training techniques that I used with Dash. Yeah, because they seem to work. So hopefully they'll work with her. Okay, so your next question is, what are your favorite pregnancy books and apps? Honestly, I've read a number of pregnancy books. None of them really stick out to me as far as like to recommend to you. The only book that I would recommend, it's not necessarily a pregnancy book, it's kind of like after you have the baby, and that's Moms on Call. Moms on Call is the book that I used in order to create a schedule, if you will, for Dash, like a feeding schedule, a schedule to kind of keep him up during the day, to help him learn, daytime from nighttime. And also when I started sleep training him, there's a schedule in there, a regimen that you can follow, and I would highly recommend it. I didn't follow it exactly to a T. It's just a blueprint to kind of get you started, and make you more aware of how things should flow. Because as a new mom, you're just kind of like, oh, what do I do? What type of schedule should I do? And you're asking for advice. But this mom was written by nurses and by moms themselves. And so everyone that I told Lauren this as well, and she's reading it and she's doing well with it with Amira. Moms on Call is the name of the book. And they have different books for the ages of your children. So I think the first one is from like 0 to 6 months. And then it goes all the way up until like 3 or 4 or something. So yeah, I plan on using that book with my little girl as well. Okay, next question you asked, what changes have you noticed in your relationship with Trey since becoming parents? Oh man, one thing that I noticed is that we always talk about our kids. And that's so funny because even though we're on a baby moon and we are spending this time together as husband and wife and loving on one another, we still have moments where we just talk about Dash, or we talk about what's to come with a family of 4, or we'll see someone on the beach and they have like a boy and a girl that are really close in age, and we're like, oh, that's gonna be us, like, and we just daydream. It's just really cute. We really we love to talk about our kids with each other. And one thing that I noticed is that we've become a little bit more structured in creating time for ourselves. Like before, y'all, when we didn't have kids, we used to like just do stuff randomly. Just like, oh, you want to go to a movie? Oh, you want to go over such and such house? Oh, you want to go to, here to eat? And just pick up and go. Because he is very much just very sporadic like that. And we can't do that now. So now I have to be a little bit more strategic and plan things, which is what I like to do. And we try to do something like once every week or every 2 weeks, at the longest amount of time. And just to spend time together alone. So that's something that's a little bit different. Okay, so your next question is, how do you balance being a mom, a wife, and a YouTuber? And this is a very popular question. I get this question a lot. So I think it comes a little bit easier to me because I'm a really big planner. And so I create to-do lists and everything for myself, or, I try to stick by them as well. So what I'll do is I'll try to kind of get an idea the beginning of the week of what my week is going to look like. So for instance, I'll have an agenda of what I want to do with Dash. Like if I want to take him somewhere, because he's the type of kid that cannot stay in the house all day. Like I have to do some type of activity with him. And with it being somewhere outside of the house. And sometimes we could just go outside and spend a couple of hours outside, whether it's going, getting in the pool, letting him play on his water table, or doing some type of activity outside, like with chalk or something, or bubbles. Or I'll take him somewhere, like I'll take him to the children's museum, or we'll go to the zoo. And usually what I'll do is I'll meet up with other moms, because moms have this thing where, like, when you get with other stay-at-home moms, they have these package deals, if you will, where one mom will have a subscription to the zoo, one mom will have a subscription to Legoland, one mom will have a subscription to the children's museum, and you just go with each other and get in for free, and you don't have to spend money. like, I have a subscription to the Children's Museum, so I would invite, a mom and her kids along with us one week, and then maybe next week she has a subscription to the zoo, and we'll go to the zoo with them for free. So that's what I do with him. With me, I try to plan out my videos of like, okay, these are the days that I'm going to film, and this is what I'm going to film for Beautifully Made. Or I know, like, there are certain days where I want to film for A Beautiful Life, because those are easier to edit and post for you guys. Now, does every week go as planned all the time? No. And you have to make room for adjustments, and that's okay, because that's life. But that's pretty much how I do it. And of course, like I said before, with Trey, we schedule time for date nights or date days sometime. And because Dad's just on a schedule and he's such a good sleeper, I mean, he goes down every night around 8:30 and he sleeps until at least 8 o'clock the next morning. So he gets a good 12 hours of sleep a night every single night. We know that big chunk of time is just for us. Like, we could do whatever we want. I mean, granted, we have to stay at home. But, like, if he wanted to, watch a series like Game of Thrones is starting back up in July. Whew, can't wait, because that's our thing that we do together. We sit down and we eat dinner and we watch Game of Thrones. And so, yeah, it's little fun things that we do with each other every night, and just spend time with each other every night and talking about our day, because Dash is on that schedule. Sorry, that was a little chatty, but yeah. I hope that answered your question. All right, next question. What have you done to prepare Dash to no longer be an only child? So Dash has an idea that there's a baby. Let me show you guys. So there's a baby in this tummy. That's my bump. So I'll say, Dash, like, where's the baby? You want to kiss your sissy? Like, and he'll go, baby. And so that's pretty much the extent that he knows that he's going to become a big brother, because he's so young, and, But what I've been doing is I've been allowing him to have more interaction with Amira, who is almost 3 months, if she's not 3 months already. And so he loves Amira. He loves babies anyway, which is so cute and just so heartwarming to know that he's going to love his little sister. But he loves Amira and he loves interacting with her. And so I try to make sure that he gets a lot of interaction with her so that he can get used to the idea of a baby being around, and a baby girl at that. So I'll hold Amira, I'll babysit Amira, or just keep her for some time so that he's used to his mom, or seeing me interact with another child or nurture another child while he's there. And then it's a good practice for me to be able to see how it feels, and to be able to also give him the attention that he needs, because he's still young, and he's still my baby. So yeah, so that helps a lot. So thanks, Lauren Boo, for sharing Amira. Okay, so a few more questions off of Instagram. I think it's Brian Nair 21 asks, what influenced your decision to give Dash almond milk, and when did you start? So Dash, I breastfed Dash until he was 13 months old, and I always was concerned about giving him cow's milk, because number one, I don't drink cow's milk at all, and that I stopped drinking cow's milk when I was a young child, and I just don't like the taste of it. I don't drink any milk though. I don't drink cow's milk. I don't drink almond milk or anything. But my husband drinks almond milk because he's lactose intolerant. So I was just kind of thinking, like, well, I really don't buy cow milk anyway, so how can I approach the whole milk situation with him? And then, there's a lot of controversy about cow milk, and you can do your research on it, and what's involved in it when you don't buy organic or a certain brand or whatever, and I didn't know if I could really just trust the labeling. So I decided to do almond milk, and then I did research about almond milk and found out that it's really just blah when you buy it commercial. Like, the almond to water ratio is horrible, and you're not getting really all of the nutrients that you need as a growing child and toddler. So I decided to make my own almond milk, and that's why I make almond milk for Dash almost every other day, and I fortify it with certain nutrients that he needs as he's growing, to make up for the nutrients that are found in cow's milk, which he's not drinking. Yeah, so that's what I do for him. And I started him on almond milk. Let's see, I started doing half and half, like mixing the almond milk with the breast milk, around 11 months. And then I would give it to him in like a bottle whenever he didn't nurse. And then I gave it around 12 months, I would give him straight almond milk in his bottle whenever he didn't nurse. And then after 13 months, he was getting almond milk, period, but it was in a sippy cup. So I would just gradually, after he got almond milk for that 1 month exclusively, then the next month I'll focus on giving him almond milk exclusively in a sippy cup, to then kind of transition from the bottle. So that's what I did with him. And he was good. He handled the transition well. And there were no hiccups, and all was well. It was really pretty easy. So I was lucky with that. Okay, so last 2 questions, or 3 questions from Instagram. Then we'll get into Facebook. Then we'll get into your questions here on YouTube. Okay, so Nisi C asked, how did you know you were ready to try for baby number 2? And Trey and I have been we've been talking about preparing for baby number 2, because we wanted our kids to be closer in age, at least 2 years apart, but not more than 3. Because I grew up in a family where we're all sporadic in years apart. And I just wanted to make sure that our kids grew up together and that we could do things together as a family, and I not feel like, oh, my son may be too old for this and his younger brother or sister may want to do this. So we started trying around December of last year, and we were very surprised because we conceived in December of last year. So it happened very quickly. We didn't expect it to happen that quickly, because the first time around it took us about 7 to 8 months to conceive. So this was still a pretty big surprise for us. A good one, but yeah. So we didn't expect to have her until later on in the year. Then you ask, is it a lot more difficult being pregnant with a toddler? There are definitely more difficult moments for sure. It's definitely different this time around being pregnant than the first time, because when you get tired or fatigued, you can take a nap. You can come home and you can concern yourself with just you and how you feel. But when you have a child, it's not like that. Especially this time around, I was so sick in the first trimester with her, and I wasn't so with Dash. So that was really hard, and I wasn't at home either. We were staying in Raleigh, North Carolina in a hotel. So I was in a foreign place, and I wasn't in the comfort of my home. And it was just rough. And, he has no idea. He thinks it's just, regular old day. And I struggled. I did. And I felt guilty because there are days I didn't want to get out of the bed. But, I have to take care of him. He, relies on me for everything. So, yeah, in that instance, it's hard. You can't just stop and take care of yourself at that particular moment. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of juggle the demands of a child with that. Your last question is, what are your concerns going from a mom of 1 to 2? Y'all, oh my gosh, I'm going to be frank with you. I struggled in the beginning, and I don't know if it was because I didn't feel good, but those first few weeks of pregnancy, I was so emotional. And I was afraid that because of the amount of love that I just poured into Dash, and that I have for him, I was just kind of like, how in the world am I going to be able to increase that amount of love and attention to give to another child without feeling like I'm shortcutting someone? You know, I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, is he going to feel like I no longer give him the same amount of attention and love because there's another child that I have to split that time up with? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, I was a wreck. And then I was feeling like, and then Trey, you know, is he going to think that, oh, now you're just all about the kids? Like, what happened to me? Like, you know, I'm your first baby. So that was something I definitely had to pray about in order to get a peace, because I mean, if you just keep thinking about that in your head and let it roll around, it will really depress you. So I'm much better about that. And after speaking with some friends of mine who are moms of, you know, 2 or more kids, and they're like, Tia, like, I tell you, like, the first time when you get that, like, mom type of, you know, I don't know, like, it's just kind of comes with the territory, like you love your kids and you do anything for them. That's how it is when you have your second child. It's like your heart automatically grows and expands to take care of whomever is there, to provide them with the love and support that they need, and you're fine, and everyone is well, you know, taken care of. So yeah, I have peace in that. Okay, moving on to Facebook, guys. 26 minutes in, and hi to those who are just now joining. All right, so Fee Marlene asked, how or when did I know that I was pregnant? And I found out again 4 days after we got to Raleigh, North Carolina in January. I was just feeling off, and you know, I felt the same way the first time around with Dash. I was just like, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test because I'm late, number one, and I just feel like something's different. And of course, I took a pregnancy test when Trey was at work without him knowing, and it came back positive in seconds. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, woo! Like, the second time around, you're just kind of like, this is real. This is happening again. Okay. So yeah, it was fun. I was glad I got to surprise Trey this time around. Okay, and then the next question you asked, do you think it's easier to raise girls or boys? I mean, I'm biased. I'm a mom of a boy. I have no idea how it is to raise a girl. So ask me in about a year from now, and I should be able to answer that for you. But this should be interesting. I hear girls are easier in the beginning than boys are. They're a little bit more content as babies and laid back. So hopefully that's true, because Dash was turn up central. Do you understand me? Like, he played no games. He was a very demanding baby. So hopefully she's a little bit more chill, since I've got, you know, him to run after as well. All right, so your last question is, how do you think having 2 children will affect your marriage, such as spending time or my tiredness? I think it will have an effect on my marriage. I mean, let's be real, it's drastic change. There's, in addition to the family, there's going to be change all around. But I kind of look at it as, you know, Trey works from home 3 days a week now, which is so helpful. I mean, he's going to be there more often than not. So he'll be a present figure in the household, and just his presence is very helpful and helps calm me. So I feel like that will help drastically with 2 kids. And I do feel like we're going to have to be more intentional about our just time together alone from kids. And one thing that I'm going to have to get better at is allowing other people to love on my children and spend time with them without me being present. I have a really complex about that. I just always want to be there. I'm like FOMO, like fear of missing out, like you know, like, what are you guys doing, or FaceTime me? And it's like, no, Tia, chillax. Like, it takes a village, you know, like I've got to become comfortable enough to allow Dash to go somewhere and have a good time and have experiences without me. And I know that that's going to need to increase during this time as a mother of two. So you guys pray for me with that, because I'm a little of a control freak when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, so hopefully that will become easier in the months to come. Okay, Victoria asks, do you want more children? Great question, Victoria. Okay, so honestly, I am pretty much done after we have this girl. I'm like, I have my boy, I have my girl, he's the big brother. We're good. Like, we're good with 2 kids. Raising, you know, more than 2 kids now in this world with everything going on is a lot different than raising 2 kids back in 1980 or 1990. Like, it's just, it is, you know. And Trey, however, is on the fence about having more kids. One day he's like, I'm good. We got our boy, we got our girl, I'm good. The next day he's like, but, you know, what if we had another child and it was a boy? Then, you know, Dash will have like a little brother, you know, they can hang out. And I'm like, dude, like, yesterday you were done. I need you to make a decision and stick with it, you know? So, yeah. Hopefully we can get on the same page afterwards, after she comes and we kind of get an idea of like, is this going to be our family or are we going to add more? We'll see. And you also ask, have I decided on a name and what is it? This is a very popular question. I'm seeing all of you guys popping up now on YouTube. Are you going to share our name? What's our name? Have you decided for a name? We have decided her name. Actually, you guys, we decided her name before we even decided Dash's name. We picked her name before we knew Dash was the girl or a boy. And we told ourselves that whenever we have a girl, this will be her name, and it has not changed. However, we won't be sharing her name, her first name anyway, right now. I don't know if we're going to share it before she's born, but I know we're not going to share it anytime soon because we just want to keep that something special for ourselves. However, we are going to be having a polling with our lovies for her middle name to kind of, you know, allow you guys to have some influence and input into her middle name, so that you can feel like you contributed in some way. So yeah, we plan on doing that a little bit later on in the summer months. Yeah, so just, you know, hang in there. We'll let you know, but not right now. Okay, Ani asks, do you plan on homeschooling the kids? Absolutely not. No, I am. I love doing, you know, learning activities with the kids. I'm learning to get better about doing crafts with the kids. But homeschooling is just not for me. I'm not the one. So they will be going to school. I plan on maybe putting Dash in a charter school of some sort. Hi, Tiana. I think that's how you say her name. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. She's like, hi. But yeah, so I do not plan on homeschooling the kids. Okay, Shaniqua asks, am I concerned with jealousy issues between Dash and his sister? I was, like I said in the beginning, I was concerned with how Dash would feel once the baby came, but just seeing how he interacts with babies in general and Amira, I have less of a fear. I really don't have a fear now. I'm more comfortable with the fact that he'll adjust well. So I'm not fearful. I'm just, I'm way more relaxed about it, and I'm kind of eager about learning how to deal with it. But no, it's nothing that I really fear at this point. Thank goodness. Okay, and then you asked, do you have a nursery set up for your precious little angel yet? No. This is why. Because I keep going back and forth of whether I want Dash to share a room with her. And at first I wanted her to have her own room, but then I was like, oh my gosh, it's just, one, cleaning up after Dash and keeping the house clean and free of toys and junk everywhere is just enough work alone. And I feel like when they get to a certain age and they interact and play together, they're going to want to play in like one area with each other. Like, he's not going to play in his room by himself and she plays in her room by herself. Like, that's not realistic. They're going to play in one room together, hence why people have playrooms. So I was thinking of maybe putting she and Dash in one room where they'll sleep. Like, she'll be in her crib, he'll be in his toddler crib or toddler bed, and then remove all of the toys and books from that room and put in the playroom, which is next door. So that when they sleep, that's all they do in that room. Their clothes are in that room, their beds are in that room, but they play in a totally separate room. So that's my plan right now. Yeah, so we'll see. And so I would need to create a part of their room for her nursery and make it girly, and still a little bit part of the theme that's already going in his room, which is pretty difficult right now when I think about it. And then I'll have to basically decorate their playroom. Something simple, but you know, something really cute at the same time. Yeah, okay, so those are all the questions, guys, that I got from Facebook and Instagram. So let me see if I could go ahead and start answering your questions on here. How I can see your questions. Alright, so I'm just going back to my channel and seeing if I can see them. And thank you guys so much for all of the questions. Like, y'all are the best. And I'm hoping that I'm answering them well enough for you guys to feel like it's helpful or productive. One question that I see that just popped up is, am I considering a water birth? Yeah, that's one thing that I considered for Dash. And I didn't necessarily have a water birth. I did labor in the water for a few hours, but I didn't give birth in the water. So this time around, if I'm able to actually give birth in the water, that would be great. And if not, I wouldn't, you know, be upset about it. But I do plan on laboring in the water for some period of time, because it's the hydrotherapy for me is just amazing. Yeah. Tasha asked, would you recommend a midwife to a future mom? Absolutely. I think midwives should be like a little gift that you get at the beginning of your pregnancy, to like, hi, congratulations, you're pregnant, here's your doula, you know. So yeah, I feel like they're a gift, and just a great help with the whole pregnancy, leading up to the pregnancy, and post-pregnancy as well. Next question is, will I do hair videos on my new hair? Of course. I have one new video up already, my wash and go routine, so check that out if you haven't. Do I plan on having a baby shower for the little girl? Mrs. Johnson asks. Yes, I do plan on having a baby shower. It won't be as big and grand as Dash's this time around, but it'll still be nice. It'll be a little bit more low-key at the house, but you know, it's, I mean, I can't help it, I'm a planner, so it's still gonna be like Pinterest worthy, if you will. But definitely not renting out a facility or anything like last time. It's just, no, a little bit more relaxed this time around. And another question was, she asked, would I do a video on a doula? And that's something that if you guys would like that, please, let me know, leave comments on whether or not you want me to do a video on Beautifully Made and feature my actual doula, who is Valerie the doula, because she would love to come in and, sit down and do a video with me and kind of give it some information about the doula practice and where you can find a doula, and about, how much they cost and different things like that. So if that's something that would interest you guys, then yeah, I'd definitely be willing to do it. What are my views on epidurals and membrane sweeps and things? That was one question. My view on epidurals is a choice, and every woman should be free to have her choice. It's just that when you have these choices, I feel like every woman who's going into, who is pregnant and plans on having a baby should educate herself about her body and the choices that are available to her. And I think that a mom shouldn't go in thinking that there's one way to give birth. So with that being said, once you've made your educated decision, or once you've made an educated decision about what you want to do, then do it. Do what's best for you. My decision was that I did not want to have an epidural based on the research that I've done. And I encourage you to do your own research and decide for yourself. And don't allow me to influence you. You make that decision for yourself. And so that's how I feel about it. So I hope that helped answer your question. Can I do a video to show some stylish outfits for pregnancy for pregnant women? Yes, I have a video that I'm planning on basically uploading within the next week, because I'm going to be shooting some videos here on our baby moon at West Palm Beach. And so it'll be kind of like your traveling beachy theme, because it's summer now, and to give you ideas of what you can wear in the summer, and also for traveling. I think you're gonna like this video, so look out for that within the next week or so, because I'm actually going to film that video tomorrow here on the beach in Florida. So yeah. Great questions, you guys. This is awesome. So we've been talking about 42 minutes. We're gonna go until I said an hour, so we're gonna go until 7 o'clock here. And feel free to just continue to ask your questions until then. Mrs. Johnson asked, have I been able to maintain my baby weight? So I started, my pre-pregnancy weight was 125. The last appointment that I had last week, I was 145. So, I've gained 20 pounds. And what I do in order to maintain a healthy weight, and I'll be 27 weeks tomorrow. So, this is my last week in the 3rd trimester. So what I try to do to maintain a healthy weight is make sure I eat as clean as possible, and that I eat smaller meals instead of larger meals that are less frequent, and so that way my body won't feel like, oh, I gotta hold on to this meal because I don't know when the next one's coming, and just to help with metabolism as well. And keep everything in moderation. Remember that how the whole cliche thing is, oh, I'm eating for 2. Well, no, you're not really eating for 2. You only need a certain amount of calories extra in each trimester, and it doesn't account for a whole other person. So I just kind of keep that in mind. And also, I'm not a stickler. If I want something or have a certain craving for something, then I get it. I don't, really deprive myself of that. And again, of course, you keep it in moderation. But yeah. The next question is, will I keep my hair this length for a long period of time? And I cut it off for a reason, y'all. It will stay this length for quite some time. I'm gonna play around with different hairstyles and stuff And I'm actually gonna, when I get back home, get it cut even lower. So the next time it'll probably be shaven more on the sides. So yeah, I do plan on having short hair at least until the kids are a certain age and they're not toddlers anymore, just because it's a lot easier. I can wash and go and not even think about, oh, I've got to twist my hair, or, do my hair at night for the next day. No. I do plan on giving my little girl almond milk once she stops nursing, the same way that I make it for Dash. He'll still be drinking almond milk at that time, so I'll just make enough for both of them. And let's see. How am I so far? I feel great. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm doing really well. And I'm feeling really good. So okay, I think this question was, how do I handle the labor pain? Any classes or techniques that I went through? Yeah, so this time around I'm not taking a class because I took one with Dash and it was very, very thorough. It was called Confident Childbirth, and it went over the different techniques that you can use through labor, such as the Bradley method, the hypnobirth method, and then there's one other method that I can't put my finger on right now. But there were 3 different methods, and this class that I took kind of gave you an insight of each one and allowed you to make the decision on what worked better for you, because when you have never been pregnant before and never experienced labor, you're not really sure what's going to work for you in that moment of pain that you've never experienced before. So I have a great big handbook or booklet with all of that information, and I plan on using that booklet again during my labor with my little girl. And so yeah, I am thankful for that booklet, and so Trey and I will definitely be using it. Would I give birth at home? All right, so Trey and I, that was one thing that we discussed early on about whether we would do that this time around. And because our midwife, who actually basically helped me to give birth the first time around with Dash, is now a full-time home midwife. She delivers only in the personal home of her client. And so we were going to go with her. But 1, our insurance wasn't covered. 2, we were just weighing the pros and cons of giving birth at home versus the hospital, considering what we went through with our first labor. And the cons were just, they were more substantial. And so it just made sense to go to the hospital and use the same group that we used, the same group of professionals that we used during the first time, because I love my team. Love my birth team. And so I still have that connection with them during this birth. And so yeah, hi everyone. Thank you guys so much for the love. Y'all are so sweet. I see your comments. Hi, thank you so much. So yeah, that's what we plan on doing now. So we plan on doing a hospital birth this time around. How do I feel about vaccinations? I feel like every family is different, and I feel like you should definitely do your research. And it's sort of like the whole options for pregnancy and for in labor. You do what's best for you. As far as what we did for Dash, I mean, he received all his vaccinations and he received them on his schedule. The only thing that he didn't receive were the drops in his eyes, and I think vitamin K or something in the beginning. He didn't receive that, and that happens, but that it's not necessarily vaccination. It's something that happens right after birth. So yeah, definitely, and do your research and find out what you're more comfortable with, you and your your spouse or the father of your child. Have I ever considered, I didn't see that last question. Have I started to talk about Jesus in the Bible? Yes, of course. Great questions, guys. So Dash is very much aware of, when we pray, like when, he prays over his food, or, when I pray to God about certain things, or he'll read books, and we'll read bedtime stories, which are stories from the Bible, because he has his little children's Bible. So he is exposed to faith, and granted, he's not 2 yet, so he still thinks it's like a little regular story, but we're getting there. We're just slowly building up so that he's more and more acclimated to it, and aware, and something that he's used to hearing and seeing. But we do pray together as a family, and I love when he puts his little hands together and knows that that's, okay, this is, your quiet time for you to really reflect. And so, yeah, as long as it's not too long, he's good. Do you plan to have children, or will your family be complete with 2? Oh yeah, that was what we discussed earlier. I think I'm done. Trey's on the fence about whether or not we're done. So yeah. Did I ever go through postpartum depression? I did not. I will say though that I had a really rough postpartum recovery physically. Yeah, it took me a while to heal. And so that was a little depressing. And coupled with the fact that I was having trouble nursing because I had a bad latch with Dash. And then I had, this is going to be, a little more information, but I had flat nipples. So I had to kind of learn different techniques and resources out there in order to help alleviate that little setback. And so it took a while to kind of get adjusted. But as far as postpartum depression, no, I did not experience that. Hold on one second, guys. Let me just get this out from over here. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So yeah. The next question was, do I miss working in the legal field? No. I think this was a question earlier that I missed. I do not miss working in the legal field in the field that I came from when I left my job in September. Not one bit. And I think that's a good sign though, because I feel like I'm so content where I am right now in my purpose, and being at home as a mom, and just being able to focus on certain things that bring me more joy, at least in this season of my life. So I feel free. I have a new sense of freedom where I just feel like I can totally just tap into just being Tia and being bold in that, and just continuing to find out more about myself and who I am, as a woman and as a mom. So am I excited about doing hair? Of course. That's why I cut my hair. I cut my hair because I knew that I wanted to play around in my little girl's hair. And I wanted to do videos on little girl hair designs and things like that. And so, yeah, that's why I cut my hair, so I don't have to spend so much time on my hair, and that I could dedicate some of that time to my baby girl. So, yeah. Is the girl's name Disney related? No. Oh, that's so funny you asked that, because Dash's name is Disney related. Yeah, Dash. Okay, so Dash's name came from Dash the Incredible. His actual name is Dashiell. I didn't know that until I went back and looked at The Incredibles. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a nickname. But no, Dash's name is just Dash. But her name is not Disney related. So that's one little clue for you guys. Yeah. And another question that I saw was, how is she treating me as far as my pregnancy? She's treating me great. She actually is, she moves more than Dash did. And she moves more when I'm hungry. Yeah, whenever I'm hungry, she's like, I know you're hungry. Go ahead, bring it on down here and feed me. And she moves more throughout the day than Dash did. So, yeah, she's pretty active in there. But I feel great. I don't have any nausea. Other than, my hips being a little heavy at the end of the day, I'm good. Is her name biblical? No, her name isn't biblical. I'm giving y'all some good tips, some good little hints. No, her name is, I mean, it's a name that I don't think you guys would ever guess, because it's different. It is a different name. So I'm just putting you out there. Any advice for moms that are afraid? I guess afraid of becoming pregnant or dealing with pregnancy. And the best thing that I could tell you to do that I did for myself is educate yourself. Educate yourself about your body. Educate yourself about the labor process, about the birthing process, about, seriously, I would go to these seminars. I remember on a birthday, I was not pregnant. I was not expecting. I was not planning to, have a child, excuse me. But I went to this seminar on my birthday with Trey and Terry, random. And it was given by Atlanta Birth Center. And it was just basically midwives there sharing information about pregnancy and birth and the options, how the options were expanding for women in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area. And so once I began to learn more about my body and what it's capable of naturally, and about birth and the joy of labor, and how, yes, it can be painful, but it does not have to be something that is so, just scary where you can't attain it. Because let me tell you something, I feel like this whole pregnancy labor situation is a lot like when people try to hype you up about certain things, about going to different stages of life, such as when you're in high school. Babe just walked in the door. When you're in high school, people are like, oh, college, make sure you got your stuff together in college because you have all this time, and you're gonna not be able to manage your time well, and the teachers there aren't gonna teach the same way, and you're gonna have to learn another way about learning in class, and it's just gonna be so hard.
What are y'all talking
just
about?
Different things like that. Or even with marriage. Oh girl, during that first year of marriage, you're gonna be so close.
Hello, my lovies. You seem to be so into this. I was watching you at the pool.
I'm passionate.
I was watching you at the pool,
oh,
y'all. I was watching her at the pool. She was going in. When can I steal you back for vacation is the question.
In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. I saw that. I appreciate you avoiding all the sucker trolls out there. I thought I'm trying to troll you in here. Hey, my lovies, what's up, y'all? My wife is gorgeous, right? And my little baby girl, I'm super excited.
Thanks, babe.
Somebody asked me a quick question. I'll give y'all. Who want to ask me a question?
Here.
I'm about to hijack the feed so I can get my wife back. She really does love y'all, and she'll talk for 2 hours. So I'm trying to keep her within a reasonable amount of time. Look at my timing, though. 59 minutes. You only got 45 seconds left.
Stop.
I'm taking my wife back, y'all. If y'all mad, be mad at me.
Anywho, what I'm saying is you don't have to be fearful about birth. You can own your birth. Own your moment,
own
girl.
It.
Seriously,
you were born for it.
Yes.
You're created for that moment.
See, I trained him well.
And husbands, y'all stand up, support your wife through birth. Yeah. And it's a beautiful experience. Beautiful experience. Let's see. Were you just looking at the engagement photos of us? What up? No, I wasn't, silly. Not so silly.
Oh my gosh.
That was Candy. She's in Atlanta. You remember her?
So you guys, it's almost 7 o'clock. We are going to wrap this thing up because we still are on our baby moon.
Exactly. I'm stealing my wife back. And it's only, you got 1 minute left before half off appetizers are over. I'm trying to figure out if you want something.
One quick question.
What's that?
Do you want more kids?
I'm kind of up in the air right now. I would love to meet another human being that's created by my beautiful wife and I. And it's always fun doing the boom boom.
Okay, stop. Whatever. Anyways. All right, guys. I'm going to close it out here. It's 7 o'clock, but feel free to continue to leave your questions below in the comment section. And I'll have another Q&A sometime if you guys want me to. And if I get a lot of questions left over, I'll definitely do another Q&A. Let me know if you want me to do like a video